Back in December 2023, Scum released one of its most anticipated and ambitious updates yet. In the days leading up to the release, the Steam discussion pages, Twitter, and Facebook were all buzzing with excitement and anticipation as the devs teased clips and screenshots of the coming horde mechanics, the flamethrower, the return of the Rager pickup truck, along with several other exciting additions such as crafting and UI improvements. The stage was set for an epic update that would bring Scum into a new era of immersion and exciting, compelling gameplay. However, things started to go a bit wrong fairly quickly. Server owners immediately noticed that they had lost a large amount of control over the server settings for puppets. Where once they had control over zombie spawns for almost every scenario, such as those that appear in buildings or naturally encountered out in the wild, along with cooldown timers and amount modifiers, now they were faced with a confusing and unrefined one-size-fits-all encounter manager system. To the dismay of many server owners, particularly those such as myself who run primarily PvE communities, not only was our control greatly diminished, but the way in which the puppets spawned had been fundamentally changed. The old spawn system worked exceptionally well, and no one was expecting it to be totally axed and replaced with this one. It was widely accepted that the puppets would simply be updated with new abilities such as opening doors and improved pathing. That the horde system would simply be the server spawning a large group of aggressive puppets once some metric, likely a noise threshold, had been achieved. Instead, what we got was seemingly empty towns. It wasn't until players began to investigate further that the full scope of the problem would begin to take shape. Upon entering towns and other POIs, zombies would begin spawning around the player, and even at their feet in many cases. Puppets would spring out of set spawn points over and over as you took them down. And bunkers and military places would spawn large amounts right behind the player, even in rooms they had just cleared. Not only that, but there seemed to be no real way to discern how or why the hordes were spawning, as you could trigger it simply by being in an area and even looting a basic item such as a wardrobe or a kitchen cabinet. In the weeks after and leading up to the present day, the community, as a majority, has been very vocal on how they feel about it. It's no good, and it has to change. Recognizing the current issue within Scum, it's evident that the recent update, released in December, brought about some unintended consequences. However, I believe there is a clear solution to address these concerns and enhance the overall gaming experience. Here's how we can fix the problem. First, it's important to understand that a lot of time and effort went into getting this update ready for the game, and the devs are understandably unwilling to abandon it after so much hard work. My solution would allow them to keep this encounter system while fixing the community's problems with the game. This solution is 100% doable and should be implemented as soon as possible. The devs absolutely must revert the puppet spawns back to the original system. The puppets need to be treated as a separate, standalone mechanic that is absolutely fundamental to Scum's success. The encounter system, while impressive and interesting, simply does not work with this gameplay mechanic. So what do you do in the meantime with the new encounter system? Simple. Scale it back and only use it to spawn hordes and animals. It is no secret that armed, intelligent NPCs are coming to Scum. And I think that if the devs continue to refine this system, they can use it to make encounters with these entities exciting and unique. Think about it. It just makes sense. Say you're looting a town and maybe you get a little too rambunctious and start squeezing off shots. Well, not only do you risk calling down a bloodthirsty horde, but the Tech 1 operatives in the area are likely going to hear the commotion and come investigate. And that's when they'll close in and start to engage the player. This will make for compelling and immersive scenarios in gameplay rather than take away from an already engaging and believable experience. This change will actually add more depth and immersion to the world of Scum, while conserving the base mechanics that brought players to the game to begin with. Addressing the issues within Scum requires a balance between innovation and preservation of what makes the game great. While the recent update brought excitement, it also brought unintended consequences, By reverting puppet spawns back to the original system and refining the encounter system for hordes and NPCs, we can maintain the game's core mechanics while enhancing immersion and gameplay. Let's work together to ensure that Scum continues to thrive as a compelling and immersive gaming experience for all its players. Thank you for listening, and let's make Scum better together.